Have you ever been blamed for something just because you were born? My twin brother died during our birth, and for as long as I can remember, my father looked at me as if that was my fault. It should have been you, he'd whisper when no one else was around, his voice like poison in the dark. He was the stronger one. I grew up in a house filled with the ghost of someone who never even took a breath. My brother's crib stayed in our room until I turned 7, untouched, meticulously clean, as if waiting for him to return. Every year on our birthday, my mom would bring out 2 candles, but she'd blow one out before the song even began. For Michael, she'd say softly. At 9, curiosity and heartbreak led me to snoop in Dad's closet, where I found a box labeled Michael. Inside were tiny blue onesies, hospital bracelets, and dozens of sonograms that showed 2 shapes curled together in the womb. There was even a letter, never sent, addressed to God, where Dad begged for the chance to trade my life for his. I placed everything back exactly as I found it and never said a word. School became my escape. I joined every club, stayed late, for every extracurricular, because anything was better than going home to a man who looked through me. My teachers thought I was ambitious. I was just surviving. Mom tried to bridge the distance, always with gentle excuses. He just misses what could have been, but I knew better. He didn't miss possibilities. He missed the version of our family that had me swapped out. On our 16th birthday, everything cracked. Dad got drunk, again, and with slurred words and rage-glazed eyes, he finally let it all out. Doctors said one of you might not make it, he growled, squeezing my shoulder until it bruised. Your cord was around his neck. You took his oxygen. You took his life. I didn't even cry. I just packed a bag and walked to my best friend Emma's house in the middle of the night. Her parents took me in without question. My mom called every day, begging me to come back. My dad, not once. When I finally returned weeks later, there was a photo album on my bed. At first, I thought it was another shrine to Michael, but inside were pictures of my mother, glowing and pregnant, beaming into the camera. On the last page was a note in her handwriting. I've always been grateful for you, exactly as you are. That night, I confronted her. Tell me the truth, all of it. She broke down in tears and finally told me that Michael had been diagnosed in the womb with a severe heart defect. The doctors warned them he wouldn't survive the delivery. The cord wasn't what killed him, she whispered. He was already dying. Your father just needed someone to blame. First the doctors, then me, and eventually, me. I finished. Suddenly, I understood the shape of my life. The guilt wasn't mine, but it had been stitched into every corner of my childhood. I asked her for the medical records, and when my father came home that evening, I laid them out on the kitchen table. Michael was never going to live, I said, my voice low but firm. You've punished me my whole life for something that wasn't my fault. He stared at the documents, eyes wide and wet, hands trembling as if the truth was too heavy to hold. You don't understand, he began, but I didn't let him finish. No, you don't understand. I've spent 18 years grieving brother I never knew and a father who never wanted to know me. The next morning, I moved out. College gave me freedom, distance, and clarity. We barely spoke over the next 4 years. Then last month at my graduation, I saw him standing at the edge of the crowd, older, grayer, like he'd been carrying something too heavy for too long. He walked up to me and handed me a small worn journal. I found this, he said. It was my mother's pregnancy diary. I flipped to the last entry, dated the day before our birth. It read, if the worst happens and we lose Michael, I pray his brother will be strong enough for both of them. Strong enough to carry our love forward. When I looked back up, Dad's eyes were full of tears. She was right, he said. You were strong enough. I just couldn't see it. I held the journal tightly. I didn't need to be strong, I replied quietly. I just needed to be loved. He reached out to hold my hand, but I took a step back. Some wounds don't heal with one apology. They need time, space, and maybe more love than he ever gave.